What's up guys, my name is Ace, and the Vanguard Champion Hill Alpha is now over, and therefore I wanted to give my final thoughts now that I've had quite a bit more playtime than I had when I shared my initial impressions of the Alpha. But before we get into my list here, I did want to mention that a couple days ago Sledgehammer did tweet out a bunch of the issues that they will be addressing from the feedback that they got right up front at the beginning of the Alpha. And the first one is visibility when damaged. This was a massive complaint for obvious reasons. It was way overkill. I don't think your screen should get blacked out when you get hurt, because you're already at a huge disadvantage while hurt. You don't need that extra disadvantage on top of that in a fast-paced shooter like Call of Duty. Then they're going to be working on spawn tuning, which is obvious. Usually spawns don't settle down in a Call of Duty game until a month or two after the full release of the game. Then map visibility, another major complaint that I had. It looks like they're going to be looking into that, which is excellent. Then audio mix tuning. I hope this isn't just them adjusting the audio mixes in the settings and instead looking at the overall audio, because as I played throughout the weekend, I was finding more and more issues with the audio where things just didn't sound right. But after that, we have nameplate visibility issues, so I think this is talking about seeing nameplates through walls. There are various walls and surfaces throughout the alpha where you could see directly through them and see that little diamond and know exactly where that enemy player was, even though you didn't even see a single pixel of their character model. And then finally, and I think this is actually a related issue to the previous one, aim assist working through destructible walls. Looks like they're going to be adjusting that in some way. I do hope they make it so if you can see like a certain percentage of the character model, you will get aim assist still. Otherwise, that could lead to a really inconsistent experience where you can see a good portion of their character through a half-destroyed wall, for instance, but you've got no aim assist on them, whereas in other situations you have full aim assist. And then also there's the whole mouse and keyboard versus controller debate. If they're in the same lobby, that could also create some potential balance issues between the inputs. So yeah, I totally agree, you shouldn't be getting aim assist through a wall that is covering the majority of an enemy player, but if it's a partially destroyed wall and you can see a decent amount of that player, you should still be getting aim assist in my opinion. And those are the main things that they've mentioned so far that they're going to be addressing. Now, I just wanted to go over my final thoughts on the alpha and everything that I gathered as I got more and more playtime over the weekend. And I'm going to try my best not to repeat myself too much from my initial impressions where I have much more detailed thoughts. I just don't want this to be a copy-paste video of that. I'm going to mainly focus on newer elements that I noticed throughout the weekend. But a big thing I wanted to point out here is I'm not judging the Champion Hill mode. Instead, I'm trying to judge all the little mechanics and how I feel they're going to be translating into more of a 6v6 environment. Because honestly, I'm not a big fan of Champion Hill. I had some fun with it over the weekend, but I think I'm kind of bored of it already. Like, once the game launches, I don't think I'll ever play this game mode. My interest at this point is 100% tied to the 6v6 experience, which we haven't seen yet. However, we can get a good indication of what it's going to look like based on what we played throughout the alpha. And let's start it off with the newer stuff that I didn't mention in my initial impressions, stuff that I discovered once I got a bit more playtime. And the one big thing that actually kind of terrifies me at this point, this is the explosive or incendiary rounds that are in the game. I didn't really notice how frustrating and annoying these were at first when I gave my initial impressions, but as I kept playing throughout the weekend, I found that I really enjoyed the first round or two of this Champion Hill mode, but as soon as you started getting into the later rounds, I just found the gameplay to become more and more frustrating and annoying, and I didn't enjoy playing it at all. And I realized this is primarily due to the fact that at that point, everybody's got their explosive rounds or their incendiary rounds, and these just cause a bunch of unnecessary frustration. These rounds are really frustrating because enemies that can't even see you, they can just shoot near you with those explosive rounds and still deal splash damage to you. That's really annoying because you're behind cover, you should be able to get a reload in or try and heal up if the enemy can't see you. No, they can just spray around the corner and get a kill on you. Also with these rounds, I was getting a lot of kill trades where I won the gunfight, but then I still get burned to death after the gunfight. That's really frustrating and annoying to run into. However, I've got to say, probably my biggest complaint with these rounds is the fact that they actually slow you down. They prevent you from sprinting, they prevent you from strafing at all, and they kind of lock you in place, which basically just leaves you feeling helpless when you get into a gunfight against somebody using that. All you can really do is try to shoot back and hope for the best, but most of the time it's not going to be working out in your favor when you do that. That is not an enjoyable gunfight experience. That takes away from the core experience of the gameplay where it's gun-on-gun action and you're fighting against other people. And the fact that these appear to be regular attachments that you just select in the gunsmith terrifies me for the full version of this game. If we're going to have a bunch of people running around with explosive rounds right from the beginning of a match, playing with those all through the match, I think that could really harm the flow and the enjoyment of this game. Not only that, there's another thing I wanted to mention, and this is visibility. I know the visibility in general was really bad throughout this alpha, but these explosive rounds especially really didn't help with that. If you notice, when they hit the ground, it kicks up a ton of dust and you got crazy spark particles flying through the air, and it completely obstructs everything behind it. You can't see through that stuff at all. And I gotta say, I absolutely hate these different ammo types. I think they're going to have a significant negative impact on the game. And a lot of that is gameplay related, but another part is just the immersion and the fact that you're in World War II, but everybody's shooting explosive bullets out of their regular infantry weapons at each other. What's that all about? That is an absolute mess. I'm not one of those people that thinks absolutely everything needs to be perfectly authentic and perfectly realistic for a Call of Duty game. I expect them to take some liberties here if it means the gameplay is going to be better, but in this case, you're taking away the authenticity and the realism, and you're making the gameplay worse. Why can't we just have regular gun-on-gun action with regular old ammunition? That would be great to see. I honestly hope they end up tuning both of these rounds to the point where they're basically useless and nobody will want to use them, because if they don't, I'm going to be very annoyed with them throughout the year. Next up, another thing I kept noticing more and more throughout the alpha, and this is something I didn't mention in my initial impressions, is the amount of visual recoil, muzzle flash, and just distortion you get to your view. So I'm talking outside of the terrible map visibility, also the visibility when you're in a gunfight. I found most of my gunfights, I wasn't shooting at a character model. What I was shooting at was the space below the red name tag that I could see, because you can't see anything but that red name tag. And again, this is something that completely takes away from the enjoyment of the game. I'm not here to play a game where I'm looking for a red diamond or a name tag and then just shooting in the space below it. I'm here to actually shoot at enemy characters and character models, and I'd like to see that stuff clearly so I can make fine adjustments to my aim and my recoil control and feel good about where my shots are hitting. In the alpha, a lot of the times at least, I just felt like I was shooting that space below the name tag, and that's not very engaging or rewarding at all. Let us see the character models clearly as we're shooting at them. Next up, another bit of feedback I wanted to give here, and we don't know exactly how they're going to handle this for 6v6, but I'm kind of assuming this is going to be the case. This is the little spawn delay that we have, which honestly in Champion Hill I think kind of would make sense because the maps are really small. It's okay to have a 3-second delay on your spawn or whatever, so somebody can't respawn and then kill the guy that just killed them before that person can even heal up and get reloaded. In a really small map situation, makes complete sense. However, I just wanted to express the fact that I really hope this short spawn delay doesn't make its way into regular 6v6 respawn modes like Domination or Team Deathmatch. We saw this back in Modern Warfare 2019, and to me, it just doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make the spawn any better or any safer to wait those couple seconds, and assuming the spawns are handled properly, in a game like Call of Duty, this is not necessary at all, unless you're playing a mode like Capture the Flag, for instance, where you need that little bit of extra time after getting your kills to be able to pull their flag out of their spawn. That makes sense, but in TDM or Domination, it just doesn't feel right in a Call of Duty game. Call of Duty's always been about, once you die, you just hit that respawn button, you're back in the action, and good to go again. And while this might seem like a really strange complaint, especially from like Battlefield players and stuff, they might be thinking like, it's only like 2 or 3 seconds, it's not a big deal. And I agree, it's not the biggest deal, this isn't a deal breaker for me. I do feel like it's just one of those little things that serves no purpose and does take away from that fast-paced action of Call of Duty that many of us longtime Call of Duty players come to expect out of this franchise. So I really hope they consider just eliminating that little delay for regular respawn modes like we've always had in Call of Duty. But finally, as far as new pieces of feedback that I wanted to give with this final review of the alpha, this is the time to kill, but not necessarily the regular time to kill to the body. I'm mainly talking about the headshots, and again, those ammo types and stuff, because those appear to be boosting damage as well. But even outside of those ammo types, headshots are way too powerful based on what I've seen so far. The fact that a BAR can get a 2-shot kill by just hitting 1 shot to the body and 1 shot to the head, with it being a full auto weapon, that's just ridiculous to me. That is way too fast. There is 0 time to react to that. And while in some ways I like the fact that aiming for the head will reward the player with a faster time to kill, When you already have a really fast time to kill, it's hard to balance that properly. Because if a headshot's going to reduce the number of shots to kill, now you're looking at an essentially instant time to kill where there's zero time to react to being shot. You're dead before you even realize what's going on. And for the players that like that really fast time to kill, that's what hardcore game modes have always been for. For core game modes, I think there should always be at least a little bit of time to react to being shot at. And honestly, that's pretty much all I had to add to this final feedback. All of my initial impressions still held true. I feel like I actually got a pretty good handle on the game early on and the things I didn't like as well as the things I liked about it. And therefore, I am still feeling quite optimistic and positive about the 6v6 experience, mainly assuming they can get those visibility issues under control. At this point, that's still my biggest concern with this game. If I can't see what I'm shooting at, I'm not really having a good time. But the main reason that I'm feeling quite optimistic about this game is most of my issues are fairly surface level and should be relatively easy to adjust. I think right now, the success of this game for me really is going to hinge on the map design for 6v6. If the maps turn out to be quite solid, which in my opinion at least, Sledgehammer has a good track record with this, if they do that and they fix a lot of these surface level issues that I have, I think we could have a really solid Call of Duty on our hands this year. But we are going to have to wait and see how that all plays out with the 6v6 beta that is coming up. Of course, those are just my final thoughts on the alpha. I'd like to hear yours in the comment section down below. What are the specific issues that you're still having, and what would it take for you to absolutely love this game? Just let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.